So hello everybody, welcome to the brand new Porsche 991.2 GT3RS. An amazing car, and where better to do a very first track day and drive than the Nürburgring Nordschleife, of course the world's most famous racetrack, and also in my opinion the best in the world, close to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Believe it or not, this is going to be my very first lap in my brand new GT3RS. I've just had it, I think, almost 3 weeks now, and I just broke in the engine. It's almost 2,000 kilometers now. You have to break it in by the owner's manual, very confusing, only for 1,500 kilometers. And the owner's manual is also the same for the GT2RS. So the GT2, GT3RS and the GT3 have the same owner's manual. And for the GT2RS, it says you have to be below 4,500 RPM for about 3,000 kilometers, which I am used to because my previous Porsche, previous followers of you, if you see my other videos, before I owned the Cayman GT4. And also with the GT4 and the Boxer GTS that I had, it was always the same. It was 3,000 kilometers braking in the engine. And now for the first time, it's only 1,500 kilometers for the GT3 and the GT3RS for the facelift version. I don't quite know why. And also, you have to just stay below. It says that in the owner's manual. You just have to stay below 7,000 RPM. 7,000 RPM from the 9,000. So this only means that they really learned from their mistake in the previous version of the GT3 with the bolt that came loose and destroyed in the engine, and they now have a warranty for 10 years on all GT3s if you still want to buy one or still find one, just to make sure that the engine is still on warranty even 10 years after. So they really learned their lessons from this, and also this engine comes straight in the 911R, so the 991.2R, and also the RSR. And I think this race engine, the tolerances are so high that you can just already rev it until 7,000 RPM while running in the engine, which is incredible. So I did it very gentle. I didn't stay too much in the same gear, always shifting down. Of course, always when your car is cold, do not accelerate fully or ask too much of the engine. So it's well run in now. I already tried the 9,000 RPM today for the very first time. It was incredible. And I just drove the car from my home straight to the Porsche factory Zuffenhausen to do a whole road trip to help the running in, because otherwise you just throw away your kilometers or miles for my American viewers or English viewers. And so I thought, okay, why not make a trip out of it and go to the factory? Because I have never been, and also the Porsche Museum. So it was super cool, and on the way back I was broken in 1,500 kilometers, so I could go flat out and try the engine for the very first time, because I never owned a Carrera. It's quite a step up from, I first had a Boxer GTS, then it came in GT4, and now my very first 911, and straight I have the new RS. So I still can't believe it. I'm pinching myself every day. But now I want to take you for a ride on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. But let me start up the car first. Also very funny, you cannot push the exhaust button anymore like in the GT4 and other Porsches before you start it up. You need to start it up first, and then you can push the valves open. Very weird, I don't know why they did this. So I hope the track is open now, and I'm all secure, my 6-point harness, and I always use still the original Porsche seat belt as well, because I mean, never safe enough, and especially if something would happen, I believe the producers of Schrott, the harnesses, I trust them very well, but still you never know if there's an error or a fault. While I still have the seat belt, I always still use it. Plus, it takes away the annoying warning sign there. So I always use double safety. So I'm gonna drive it in manual, of course, on the track. But it's my very first time, guys, with the GT3RS. And also I sold the Cayman GT4 about 8 months ago, so I didn't have any Porsche, I didn't drive any tracks for 8 months. So this is after 8 months of long having an itch of not being able to drive on the track. Let me see if there's no cars coming. It's my very first time back at the Nordschleife, which many of my very trustworthy viewers in the past would know that I drive my Cayman GT4. You can always watch the other videos that I did before. I drove the Cayman GT4 pretty fast around here, but I have to go completely gentle for the very first lap because I have no idea how to manage the Carrera, because I always had a middle engine and never the engine at the wrong place in the back. So I see the track is open, so let's see what we can manage for the very first lap. But of course I'm gonna take it super gentle, guys, and just take you for along for the ride, how it must feel if you would have a brand new GT3RS and take it to the track for the first time. So afterwards, when we have done the lap, because I'm going to try to have I'm going to focus a little bit, so I'm going to try. I've never done this before, so please bear with me. I've never done a talking while going on a track or anything. Normally I'm very focused and you know, and I don't want to, I do one thing at a time. But let's see how it goes. But bear with me if I have some silence moments or whatever, because of course then you know I'm really focusing. But I'll try to explain as much as possible how it compares to the GT4, which I had for 2 years, and I drove almost 25,000 kilometers on it, which most of it was on the Nordschleife. And my fastest lap with the GT4 was 7 minutes 34 seconds, bridge to gantry, so not the full lap, because of course with toeristenvaarten like today, you cannot go over the Dottingerhooie. It's the main straight. You cannot go there because of course the cars, they all have to exit the track and enter the track on this straightaway. So it would not really be safe to let me get my car first and open the window. Very exciting, guys. This is the very first time. It's no joke, and I'm taking you with me. You see all these people, a lot of tourists. Let me go behind this nice BMW. And also it's handy when somebody's standing there. Hola. Hello. Thank you. When somebody's standing there, because when you're suited up in the harness and you realize that you cannot access the card slots, you're stuck. So you have to. So let's go. I forgot, very important. Of course, always forget something, and you have to remember to keep on your gloves. And always, if you go slow, always watch behind you, guys, because there's always faster traffic than you. Also, the tires are not heated yet, so I have to be quite gentle on the tires for the first corners. So let me bring up. So yes, I feel the tires are still very cold. So I hope you hear me over the amazing 9,000 RPM. Listen to that, wow. So here, Hatzenbach, so we go flat out. Wow, the grip, I can already feel, even with the tires are cold, a lot of smoke coming out of this Megane. So I'm gonna back off a little bit because you don't know if he's leaking oil or fluids or anything. Because that's every driver's worst nightmare on the Nordschleife, is when the car in front of you loses oil or something, you just slip. And then, you know, it's... So let's try to pass these guys already. Tires are still very cold. Already hitting the ref limiter because I was not used to this RPM, of course. Let's see. Please, yep. Taking it very gently here because it's Schweinenkreuz. To me, one of the most dangerous places, and my tires are very cold. But still, we're doing 240 over 243 over the jump, braking hard and taking the corner. Normally, I would go way faster, but I'm really holding it in, guys. Full on the brakes. Second gear and accelerate out. Use all the track. Hitting the rev limiter again because I'm saying, of course, I have to get used to this. Straight down to Foxhole. But strange enough, the car now, of course, I'm not driving at the limit, but the car veers very similar to my mid-engine cars, the GT4 and the Boxer, which is funny because you don't feel anything of. Yes. You really feel the extra grip of the engine sitting on the back. What a car, guys! This is incredible. Of course, I'm downshifting to gears that I shouldn't be using here for these corners. But of course, like I told you, look, already some understeer. But like I told you, I'm taking it super gentle, guys. I don't want to be stupid and wreck my dream car on the very first lap, of course. But still, we're taking quite some speed. And here the slowest, Nordschleife, slowest corner on the track. It's about normally like 70 kilometers an hour. You can wave to the photographers always, of course. And here we come to Breitscheid, the middle part of the track. There's a lot of spectators here who can now enjoy the beautiful sounds of this. Watching out for them again, coming out. On the track, I mean. Almost some drifting. What a car, what a machine! Coming here in Lauda Links, very careful because it's a blind corner and you don't know where the people, braking for the corner here. So always indicating. Always indicate so they know that you're coming in fast. And I always try to, even if we're going quite fast now, always look at your rear mirrors, guys, always. Because you don't know that there's Lewis Hamilton or somebody else or Lars Keren or something, driving behind you and think that you saw them while actually you didn't. And that's very bad, It can cause an accident very soon. So now we're coming in up to the carousel, almost. Hope this car saw me because I need to pass, please. Yes, very safely, always think of the other people. This is, see, now I'm holding back. He saw me, okay. So now we're coming into the carousel, braking hard for the cars, waving, of course, to the photographers. Oh, very slow car here. Thank you, he saw me. And please, Golf also, out of my way. And listen to again, 9,000 RPM. Brake. Normally I don't brake here almost. Normally I go almost full ahead. But again, hopla, see? Very big dust cloud now. See, that's exactly why you should do it slow. That's where I found, normally I could have gone really on the speed that I did with the Cayman GT4 because of middle engine, and that's the first time I felt the weight bias on the rear really kicking me out. So that could have been a really bad crash. See, on the very first lap. So that's why, please, I don't want to be, don't think also if you take your car for the very first time on the track, even I wasn't that cautious enough, and then you can really break your car. See, it was so close to being an accident, but lucky enough, I managed to hold it, and here as well. So I need to really recalibrate my brain to be able to adjust to the weight in the back and a different amount of grip. So let's see if we can jump here a little bit. So it's what I found. Oh yes, very different driving from grip. Oh, there also, even quite unsafe I felt there. I don't know why, because I was going very gentle, but in the GT4 I had lots more grip, and there it went really light on coming down there, which I would imagine you had more grip because of the downforce. It's almost 450 kilogram downforce, because I put the wing in a maximum downforce position, which gives you, instead of 350 kilograms downforce at top speed, it gives you 450 almost. For this you have to take away some plastic things in the front of the car, and then it balances the car out again, because it needs, if you adjust the wing in the back to, I think, from 3 or 5 degrees to the maximum 7 degrees. So now I need to cool down because it is the end of the lap. So then you need to, if you do something on the back wing, of course you need to adjust the front as well, because otherwise the car is not balanced, and then it's very light. So this was the very first lap with my GT3RS. Luckily, I didn't bin it against the barrier, which have been my worst nightmare. But of course, I was focusing on the driving and talking and driving at the same time, which is new to me. So I was caught a little off guard there. Luckily, we went into the dirt. You didn't see the big sand cloud behind me that I made, but I managed just to drift it out. And I think I need to change my underpants now, you know. So guys, I will try to do this again and talk more about driving with the GT3RS on the Nordschleife, and the amount of detail that went into this, into the production, and see if we can do another video like this, instead of just driving with on the track without talking. So let's see what happens. So I hope you liked it, guys, and please, of course, like everybody says, like on YouTube, subscribe, like, and hope to see you soon on the next video. Cheers, guys.